like solving a sort of simplified Rubik's Cube, yeah, it's very weird to use, but the fluid motion, yeah, shout out to Czar, really making what we do pretty easy actually over here. So
yes, thank you, Czar. If you have not already, follow Czar on Twitter. Check out Czar's videos. Czar producing so much of the content that you see here on EGTV for this tournament. But let's talk about the match here. So it looks like we are going to see that Splattershot Pro that you talked about earlier, so strong on splat zones of any variety. But again, both sides going with a lot of shooters.
Yeah, we do see a regular slosher over here instead of a try, which, you know, you probably won't see that much, but it does have so much more range than a try slosher. It can be an imposing force if used appropriately.
Yeah, and, you know, on this stage, too, it makes more sense, just a little bit more range to go down those long, narrow alleyways, those long paths. But I'll be very interested in seeing what this Pro does. The Pro, by virtue of its kit, kind of has to be that back anchor that you were talking about that it played. Looks like the zone going to go here really quickly to Legacy, as this Rapid Blast Ray, very strong, going to splat out, I believe. No, Tri-Slosher managing to escape here.
That was kind of an interesting survival there.
Yeah, just jump away. It is a 3-shot just burst kill if you don't get the directs. If you do get a direct, it is only 2. But right now, they're finding, they being Surge, finding themselves a little bit dangerous here. Gonna come down with a splash down.
Yeah,
I love that
expected.
Yeah.
It is, yeah, it is interesting. Send someone ahead real quick and then let me get in there. Unfortunately, no splats off of it, but they did push him back, even if temporarily.
Takes a lot of zone, too.
It does, especially because I would say this is one of these smaller splat zones, considering that you have so many of these sort of giant cargo containers in the way. It's actually an odd shape for a zone as well, but it's a little bit smaller than some.
One thing to keep an eye on is how teams end up spreading themselves about these lanes. Of course, you don't want to spend too much time in the middle lane because you're just open there. So it's really interesting to see if 2 or 3 go to one lane, is making its presence felt. Gonna get 1, maybe get 2. No, Dan barely able to escape here. Blake gonna find a safe way down. Almost runs into that burst bomb. And Blake doing a great job getting around here. And this flank could produce something big, but it looks like they are gonna get called out. Still gonna get 1.
2 down. It's not bad. It's interesting to see, you know, we're not seeing from Legacy, you know, kind of what I had assumed we would. We're actually seeing a little bit of a different, sort of a different play style in terms of just the loadout. It's you know, we're seeing a lot of inkjets. I'm not actually seeing ink armor a lot from Cat either on the on that front. So it just sort of bamboozled here on my end, a little confused. I think teams are just going down very quickly.
Oh, that's 3. Speaking of going down quickly.
Yeah, and good burst bomb, good direct, but not quite enough there on chill.
Blake gonna come in and for the cleanup, gonna get this very close to Inkjet here. Would not be surprised to see that go down right now as it does. Poor Dan has no idea and unfortunately gonna go down there. Gonna have to be careful. They're getting back here. You see a lot of green ink in what we call oftentimes the court. That's very often the term used in callouts for that spot near your zone that's very big. Dan gonna get to sneak around here. A lot of green, and they're able to set up their sharks exactly how they'd like to. This may lose them the lead just like that.
This is pretty good. If they can not get a little greedy here, if they can play this appropriately. I always say play your blasters or your shooters like a brush sometimes. Sometimes you have to wait it out, be a little sneakier. And if they can continue to just be a little bit more aggressive like that, well, speaking of, we see a bomb rush coming.
The burst radius just a little bit too much.
A little large.
I like the idea, though, because when you come down, you are invincible and you can eat bombs, but until you come down, your hurt box is still active and you're a sitting duck.
Yeah, you are sort of your own worst enemy in that case. You just put yourself up for that. But, I mean, still, this is pretty close. They kind of brought this back over here as we see Cat and Hunty still moving forward. This could be something special. They have to wipe a lot of penalty points off, and they need to watch out for Lappies, which looks like they're going to try to make that flank. Hunty may be in a good position to stop that.
And this is such a difficult position to be in because you have to take back turret before you can even think about going in. They are able to take 1 down. They all have their special up, as you can see. Unfortunately, the bucket going to go down here. Lapis might be able to... No, Lapis gets taken down by the splashdown. A little bit of revenge there. And if Carlos goes down, that was really their last chance at getting back to the zone. Chill by themselves over here on the side.
Blake is just...
Yeah.
The movement there, wow. You know, I expected Blake to go down seconds before he did. But he didn't. You know, that was interesting movement on his part. Blake, I would say Blake was a great anchor to be able to make, because, you know, we saw him make that first push forward. And I think after that, it was all good for that team. You know, we see 5 Ink Armors from Cat in late game. They finally hit a stride. It took a little bit of pressure, but that's a good 1-0 for them.
Yeah, great first start there. You know, again, things went kind of back and forth there. They went down big, but it was after they got that big full wipe that they were able to set themselves up. When you go down, let's break this down a little bit. When you go that many down, sure, the other team gets some kills, but what you really lose is territory, right? You lose the ability to find ways back into the map at the way that you could before. You kind of take for granted in the early game just getting into the center of the map. But when you go down that many, you don't have anybody to really hold on to your turf. Maybe that person isn't able to get the kills, but at least they can secure a way back to the battle for you. And if you go that many down, you know, it sounds obvious to say, but it really is important to just find a way to keep somebody alive and hold that so you don't lose your big lead that you got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Blake did a really good job at using his point sensor appropriately, and also being a hit squad of his own when he needed to. And yeah, kind of what you said, once they started taking that upfront turf, it became a lot harder because, you know, at some point you can try to really get through that turf by yourself, but you have to bring your team with you, and sometimes it's really easy to get flanked once you've lost all that ground. So, you know, there's a great maneuver to push ahead, and I think Blake, like I said, was the ringleader of that orchestrated event. It was a great move, and obviously it won them that match. So.
Now we move on to Tower Control Starfish main stage. If you have a blaster, play it now.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I know Kat is a really strong charger as well, so I'm interested to see if she goes that route. And I wouldn't be surprised if we actually saw Blake hold the splatter shot, but I do want to see what blasters really come out of this.
Again, one of the main parts of this stage is how I guess laterally the tower moves. You'll see here once the match gets started, that tower path, which is a set path, moves a lot of left to right in comparison to other maps, and it does go in 2 very open checkpoints, as you can kind of see right there. It actually moves backward for a little bit, moving forward by moving backward. What a great way.
Yeah. Now, this is sort of what we expected here. We do see Cat with the charger, but we're seeing only really 1 blaster in this entire match. Tri-Slosher is a strong replacement for blaster if you can get in a little closer, so it is worth noting 2 Tri-Sloshers out. So, but otherwise, we see what I believe to be a dynamo?
No, that is the hero roller. That's just the regular roller. It's just the alternate skin provided by Hero Mode. Shoutouts to alternate skins. But anyway, we do have Jared here on charge as well.
We do, yes.
And immediately makes his presence felt. Gonna get 3! Goodness gracious.
Wow.
Jared, nerf the sniper more. Come on.
That was interesting. You know, we see so much sort of negativity in the community about how chargers have changed, but I think because of the maps and the way the maps have changed, chargers are still incredibly viable, and it's interesting to see some come out today when needed. Which that was my mistake earlier. Cat staying at Tri-Slosher. Jared is the individual who picked up the charger there. Great first push. 60 is pretty good on this map, but if you can get it past 60, you're kind of a shoot-in.
Right, and isn't that kind of disheartening? They got that 3 down, and it seemed like everything was going for them, but then they got to that first checkpoint, or that's, I guess, second checkpoint right there, and there were just bullets flying everywhere from them. But let's keep an eye on Dan here. Dan being the blaster in a pretty good position to make something happen. If he so chooses. It looks like they're going to keep things going. Not going to opt for the sponge. The sponge does give you access into your opponent's base. So not putting anybody up there right now, but they need to be able to make it here to this second checkpoint here. If they get it past this, which it looks like they might. No, sniper again?
There we go. Jared just making it happen for him. I mean, it's already at 44, so they still do have to make a super offensive push. So I want to see... I want to see Jared's movement capability because he can clearly get those shots off when they need to happen. But I want to see if they can start to make a push forward, really what happens with that. Of course, we see one of the most hated specials in the game. high skill ceiling there. But definitely just it's a threat more than anything.
Yeah, definitely a situational thing. Need a little support from your team to make it happen here. Jared playing an incredible game right now, but they aren't quite able to get as big of a push forward. And that really has been one of the criticisms of the sniper class in this game, is it gets a little extra credit there. But it's very difficult for the sniper to get up into positions to really assist with pushes because there are so many ways to get around, there are so many ways to flank. You can always find a way back into the match. Let's watch Cat here on the backside. Lapis barely moving. Lapis actually getting incredible kill there. I thought for sure they were going to go down. And Lapis again now opting to move up into the base, try to put a little pressure, let the teammate take out Hunty, coming back now for the kill. And they are in a great position to make it past this second checkpoint, and they do.
Yeah, that's, I'm going to say right now, Dan and Lapis right now are being sort of MVPs of their team, and just Lapis, we just see going off with inkjets constantly. It's so constant.
Blake, no.
And Blake getting caught between a rock and a rock. Just no opportunity for movement as they capped the point there. That was a great push.
And very... I want to see what the sniper was able to do in terms of KA, because that will tell the story. An incredible game played by the sniper there, but the sniper can only influence so much. 7 and 2, but you see there, Blake, Chill, Lapis all going in and making things happen, and that is really the name of the game right now in the early meta is get in, get it done. But a great response that time from Legacy. Of course, they lost that first game, so we're going to see a Game 3 here, if I am not mistaken. And it is finally going to be Rainmaker on Sturgeon Shipyard. For everyone watching at home, you lose automatically if you use the exploit. So don't use the exploit.
Which, to be honest, I've never actually had anyone use that exploit against me. I've only seen it on Twitter. So, but yeah, that's a good call out. If that exploit is used, I would imagine unintentionally or otherwise, quote unquote, then yeah, that's going to be a DNF, unfortunately.
But again, we talked a little bit about it earlier. The right side being one that you can go up, but it's very open, and the team does have a chance to put bombs down there. You have a lot of uninkable turf if you end up going for that right side. You have an option to go sort of right and then sort of left. You can go up mid and then you can swing around left, or you can go that hard left where you go down that narrow alleyway. But sometimes narrow is good. Sometimes narrow means the opponent can't shoot at you as much either. You're definitely not as open. You can get those points really, really quickly here. But what I need to see this time from, because that was a pretty convincing win, I would say. What I need to see this time from Surge is I need to see them hold on to their territory just a little bit better than they did that last game, because once that push started and they were able to get those dual inkjets going, they really had no resources to make a counter push. So gonna have to be careful. I'm almost certain that we're gonna see dual shooter come out this time, maybe even triple shooter come out from Legacy.
Yeah, I definitely want to see, like, kind of what we mentioned. They definitely need to be able to keep their turf and be able to keep that moving. But I think, yeah, especially on Rainmaker, because it is used so much as a weapon, I want to see how attack and defense really works, because Sturgeon is a very sniper-heavy vertical map, so I do want to see sort of what happens here as far as who's making what push and where.
Let's go ahead and get a time check real quick. So I believe we might be just slightly ahead. So for reference, I am at 451, 450, 449, 448. All right, it looks like we are A-OK. And speaking of A-OK, Dan's going to be able to go in and get the kill right there on the Blaster. Of course, Blaster has to be able to make those shots hit from a distance, because hitting them up close is much more difficult here. But right now, it is Surge going out to this big lead. Dan going to be able to make it. Yeah, going to be able to make the jump, but a very, very clutch kill, not letting them get any further, as we see Lapis come in with the roller this time. Very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the problem they're going to have here with the way the Rainmaker's positioned is they're going to have to either flank really well, like what we're seeing from Gray, to be able to make that Rainmaker move forward. Because you can easily pop the bubble and jump up there, but then you get taken out, you know. We've seen that already once. So they're either going to have to wait for the Rainmaker to come down via, you know, obviously the other team, or wait for the reset, which is kind of what they're hoping for, is what it looks like.
Yeah, they know they can't go too aggressive right now. Picking up the Rainmaker in that position, not the best look, because the opponent knows exactly where you have to come from. So yeah, just let it reset, try to take some turf back. I apologize, I misspoke earlier. It was actually Legacy going off and getting that big push, and they are going to continue to do so right now. They do get it up that right side. It is open, but it looks like Lapis is going to be able to continue to solo run this. Lapis may take it all the way here. Gets around with the Kobe, the dunk. Great job there by Lapis, moving up, knowing that all the threats were behind them. Sneak right on up, get that dunk, do it yourself. Great job there.
That's what makes Rainmaker so potentially deadly in this game, is that it's a little faster, it shoots a little faster because it is less of a giant tornado. So you can make solo pushes more viably, and it is a better weapon. So in the event that Lapis maybe came up against somebody, but great move to the back end there, jumping into the ink blot and then up above for the dunk.
Mm-hmm.